Hey, welcome back, Group 3. It's day 4 now. So our algae culture's now been growing for a couple of days. And so to figure out how much algae is in here, we're going to walk through that same sampling protocol and figure out the amount of algae in the culture. And we're going to compare that to day 2, values that we collected earlier. And that will help us calculate the growth rate of our algae to see how quickly it's growing. So if you want to follow along with me here, it's day 4 worksheet. On the top, it should say part 1, sampling your algae culture for a second time. There's a table here in the middle. The middle line here is from your day 2 data. So you can go ahead and insert that if you have that from previously. If not, we'll talk it through in a second as well. And then we also have this bottom line, which we're going to fill out today for day 4. So let's get started. So we use the skirted falcon tube, and we're going to shake our algae culture and fill this up here with 50 milliliters of algae. All right, looks good. And then we're going to use, remember, our handy dandy Secchi stick. We're going to watch that shield as we drop it through to determine exactly how much algae is in our culture. So we can keep dropping it. It's disappearing right about there for me, which appears to be between 20 and 25 millimeters. So probably about 22.5 millimeters. So go ahead and mark that down here. In the Secchi stick reading on the second line here, it will be 22.5 millimeters. And then remember, we used that measurement and we compared it to, and we used this tool, the algae biomass estimator, to figure out how much algae is actually in the culture. So I labeled this here from your data from 2 days ago on day 2. So we originally got a reading of 35 millimeters on our Secchi stick, and that corresponded to 170 milligrams of algae per liter. And then just now, on day 4, we got a reading of 22.5, which corresponds to letter G here, and we are seeing 340 milligrams of algae per liter now. So this is actually really interesting. So from 170 to 340, it actually doubled in 2 days, which is pretty remarkable, very quick growth rate. And so what that's showing us is we are getting more algae from day 2 to day 4. So our algae is growing, so it must be nice and happy. So go ahead and on the worksheet here, down at this corner, you'll put in 340 milligrams of algae per liter. And then at the bottom, just like we did on day 2, it's asking us to describe the culture in a qualitative way or in observations. And so it's nice, we're going to flash up a picture here. We took a picture of your culture on day 2 and a picture of today on day 4, and we put them side by side so you can compare them. So in here, for this qualitative data, I want you to compare what your culture looked like 2 days ago with what it looks like today. And then after you do that and you fill that out, stick with us because we're going to go ahead and walk through how to calculate growth rate in these cultures as well. All right, guys, thanks. See you.